In a major diplomatic push, top officials from the United States of America, Europe and Ukraine have gathered in Geneva to discuss Washington's controversial draft plan to end the Ukraine war. The talks come amidst growing anxiety in Kyiv and across Europe over what many see as sweeping concessions to Russia. The US proposal given to President Zelensky with a Thursday deadline requires Ukraine to cede territory, limit its military, and drop its NATO ambitions. For many Ukrainians and frontline soldiers, these terms amount to near capitulation after almost 4 years of war. Senior US officials, including Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, arrived today saying they hope to iron out the final details, though nothing will be final until Trump and Zelensky meet. European leaders who say they were not consulted on the original proposal are now pushing for improvements. National security advisors from France, Germany, Britain, the European Union and Italy are in Geneva working on a parallel European draft built off the US plan. Ukraine's delegation led by Andrei Yermak say that the plan risks undermining Ukraine's dignity, freedom and even its alliance with Washington. Moscow, meanwhile, has called the draft a basis for negotiations, though the Kremlin is expected to oppose parts of the proposal requiring Russian pullbacks. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has launched a sharp attack on Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. In a post on his social media platform, Truth Social, Trump accused Kyiv's leadership of showing no gratitude for American support. We have Dr. Rajan Kumar, Professor, School of International Studies at JNU, now joining us on the broadcast. Dr. Rajan Kumar, thank you for taking time out to be with us. Talk to us. This peace plan seems to be dead in the water at this stage.
Absolutely, Krishna. First, thank you for having me here. And let me tell you that the kind of proposal which is has been circulated by United States and which has been leaked in the media, essentially it means that there is some the major concessions are being given to Russia. Some of the people are saying that it's Russia's wish list. Most of the demands, if you see, the Russia's maximalist demands have been included in the proposal. When it was asked to Secretary Rubio, he also kind of consented that yes, most of the Russian demands are there, but he also said that probably further negotiations will take place. What is happening at this moment is Trump is coercing Ukraine to sign the peace deal because United States Trump administration knows that without accepting some of the major demands, which Russia calls it root causes, without that, the ceasefire plan of Trump will not go further. And that's exactly the reason most of the demands have been included, which includes the demands first and the foremost is the NATO's membership will not be given to Ukraine. Second, and the most important, and Ukraine is objecting to that territory which Russia has captured, that would be accepted as Russian territory. Third, the number of army would be reduced to 6 lakh army for Ukraine. And also, the proposal says that European Union or NATO will not be sending its military to Ukraine for any defense. What has been given to Ukraine is just one thing. Very vaguely, it says that there will be some kind of security guarantee for Ukraine, but the details are missing. So what is happening that European Union is feeling left out because European Union, it seems that European Union was not consulted before the 28-point peace proposal of Trump. So now they're meeting in Geneva and they are saying two things, that Ukraine should have right to join or decide its future, whether it wants to join European Union or it wants to join NATO. So that should be that right should remain with the sovereign state called Ukraine. And second, they're also saying that this is the issue of European security. There are very subtle causes, very measured in terms of not going too much against the United States. But there is a tension and unease in European Union, and that's exactly the reason you see that most of the important leaders, especially E3, they are calling it France, Germany, and UK. They are meeting in Geneva, and also Rubio and Italy and other representatives would be there. And if you European Union statements which have come, so they are saying on two things: Ukraine's sovereignty is important, and this cannot be taken without without taking into account Ukraine. And second, that European security is important. This is an issue of Europe. So gradually there is some departure in terms of statement, but again, European countries are not in position to take an independent position, and they'll have to ultimately concede to Trump. So it depends how much Trump can actually concede to the European demands. Only then this negotiation can proceed. But it will take time. Let me tell you, it might take several months.
Okay, it might take several months, is what you're saying. But as we speak, Trump has just launched a rather sharp attack on Zelensky. He's accused, Ukraine as a nation of showing no gratitude for American support. Where does that leave that relationship then?
Ukraine is in bad shape. Ukraine is facing, a peace deal which is humiliating, and Ukraine is, on the other hand, Ukraine is facing an army which it cannot defeat. Russians are gradually capturing territory. Pokrovsk, the latest city which is being captured, extremely important from that side, from a strategic perspective. So Ukraine is losing territory day by day, and there is a sense, there is some kind of fear that Russia might proceed further and it will capture many more territories. So what Russia is wanting, that it wants the whole of Donbas region, which includes Donetsk and Luhansk. It might be willing to concede on Zaporizhia and Kharkiv region, which Russia has captured. So Russia might be willing to negotiate on these regions, but the entire Donbas region, Russia is saying that no, it will not compromise. That's exactly the situation at the moment. And Ukraine, Zelensky is facing a lot of pressure. Let me tell you, Zelensky is facing first the corruption charges. $100 million, has been siphoned off by some of the associates and related to conscription, etc. So corruption charges are there. There is a lot of opposition within Ukraine against Zelensky, and Zelensky is actually nowhere. Zelensky is neither getting this financial support from Europe. It will take several months before some kind of finances might come to Ukraine. It requires minimum $130 billion to fight a war for next few months, and it does not have money. So it depends on Europe, and Europe is not giving the money. America is saying that if you do not sign the deal by Thanksgiving, which is Thursday, so it will stop sharing intelligence with Ukraine. It also promised earlier, as you know, Tomahawk missile, etc., but it never delivered to Ukraine. So that if American supplies and if American support stops, it would be extremely difficult for Ukraine to fight a war with Russia, and that's the fear that they are dealing with at this moment. So Zelensky is in very bad shape, without any doubt.
Zelensky is in bad shape. Let's just get back to that peace deal. Russia has called it as a basis for negotiations, and even the Kremlin is expected to oppose parts of this proposal, that is requiring Russian pullbacks.
I think that's the Russian Kremlin posturing. Russia would be happy with this deal, let me tell you, because most of the demands of Russia have been included in this peace proposal, and that's why some of the people saying this is a Russian wish list. So it is a kind of capitulation of Ukraine to Russian demands, without any doubt. So Russia is posturing rather than Russia also has said that this is the deal where it is willing to accept. Where Russia might disagree, the 28 proposal which has been leaked out, it says that $100 billion of Russian frozen asset, which is there in Europe and other countries. So that out of that 100 billion would be given to Ukraine for reconstruction. That Russia might object. Russia also might object because the three out of $300 billion, $200 billion of the frozen asset, I'm saying. So 200 billion will go into the joint investment where US and Russia will consider joint investment either in Donbas or in some other part of Russia. So on that issue, probably Russia may disagree, but Russia would be willing to negotiate on the frozen asset or this territory, etc. Some of the territories what it is captured. For Russia, even in the best of the circumstances, let me tell you that Russia would not have expected a better deal. Essentially, what I say, I've said in some of the places that it seems that Russia has got his own person in the White House, and that's why most of the demands of Russia they are being presented not by Russia but by America, and Russia could not have expected anything better than this.
Okay, Russia couldn't have, expected better than anything better than this. But we're talking about senior U.S. officials at this stage, including Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who arrived today, saying that they hope to iron out the final details. Though nothing will be, of course, final until Trump and Zelensky meet. What do you expect out of the meeting in Geneva today?
The meeting, European states could have taken a completely different position. Europe could have asserted its rights, its security concerns, but I do not see that happening. They are not willing to go against Trump. That's the main concern. Although they will, although let me tell you that US has also said Marco Rubio and later Trump tweets, etc. So they're willing to negotiate on some of the issues where they might take into concern this European security concern. One of the issues that the Europe has been raising is that if Ukraine, the part of Ukraine is captured, then probably the next it could be one of the regions of Europe, especially the Baltic states. So that is the fear, and so America will have to ensure or guarantee some kind of security not only for Ukraine but also for Europe, because many of the smaller states of Europe, they're very worried about the security. They're also worried about the nuclear saber rattling which is happening. They fear that the way Russia is behaving, they might be under threat at some point of time. So these are the major concerns which are being discussed. But I think European countries will insist for two things primarily. One is some kind of security guarantee for Ukraine, where some kind of coalition of forces might be an idea. And second, they'll also emphasize on security of the European country, and United States has to assure Europe that it will be there, it will be there to support any kind of Russian incursion in the future.
Okay, stay with us. We have some more breaking news coming in on it. Just before that, quickly, I wanted to check with you. Advisors, national security advisors from France, Germany, Britain, the European Union, and Italy are in Geneva, and they are believed to be working on a parallel European draft or peace plan. What do you think will be the main points of that draft plan?
Draft, there will be some additions and some deletions. This 28 piece proposal which has been offered, that is completely sidelined, or it has not taken into account either the concerns of Ukraine or the concerns of European Union. So, for instance, what might be, see, the territories which have been captured by Russia is not going to give it back, let me tell you. And Ukraine, even with the support of Western countries, Ukraine is not in position to take it back from this, what do you call it, Russia. So the issue is whether European Union and Ukraine, they would accept the de facto control. This draft says de jure control, which means legally they should recognize, but that is unlikely to happen because the regime of Zelensky would be under threat. If he does that, he'll be forced to leave the country.
Right.
So that
Dr. Rajan, in fact, we have details of what are the contents of that draft plan. It's as put out by the Reuters news agency, the European counter proposal to Ukraine. We understand, proposes Ukraine military to be capped at 800,000 at peacetime. That's the latest. Ukraine to hold elections after the signing of the peace deal. Those are the details, latest details emerging of the possible alternate plan by the European Union. Dr. Rajan Kumar, no consensus on Ukraine joining NATO in this plan, but this new plan being floated, 800,000 cap on military, and then of course elections to be held after the signing of the peace deal.
I think the number of military is not a major issue. Even today, Ukraine claims that it has a military of roughly 800,000 people. And in the proposal, it was expected. The proposal says that it would be reduced to 600,000.
Yes, that the US peace plan says 600,000. This is an increase of that.
Yeah. But the main issue is not that. Let me tell you, Krishna. The main issue is the territory. What happens to the territory? Will Ukraine accept it, even de facto, if not de jure? Second is that whether NATO membership would be offered or not to Ukraine. And third, and the most important, what European Union might offer, should offer that at least the membership of European Union. And I think European Union President, she has offered, it seems, some kind of proposal where in future it might give some hope that Ukraine would be given a membership of European Union. NATO is completely ruled out because Russia will not sign any deal if NATO's membership.
But we understand that in this counter proposal, Ukraine to receive US guarantee that mirrors NATO's Article 5. And and NATO on its part has agreed that they will not station troops in Ukraine under its control during peacetime.
Well, that will be very interesting to see that whether Ukraine becomes part of Article 5 of NATO. That means essentially collective security, and collective security means that in case there is an invasion, all the countries will come to the rescue of that country. So that is as good as saying that it's a member of NATO. So I don't think Russia will agree to that kind of proposal. If that is the case, I haven't seen the European counter proposal, but if that is the case, the agreement is not going any further because NATO's membership is a big no from Russian perspective, and Russia will never agree to that.
Okay, fair enough. We will leave it at that. Dr. Rajan Kumar, Professor, School of International Studies there. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us, sir.